The portrait of a king, fate, fear, and the eternal whisper of a butterfly. Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely. What you are about to witness is more than a portrait. It is a reckoning, a challenge, a reflection not only of a king, but of the world he represents, the era he embodies, and the burdens he carries. The newly unveiled official portrait of King Charles III by Jonathan Yeo is not merely a painting, it is a statement. And like all great statements, it does not sit quietly. It provokes, it unsettles, it demands that we look, that we question, that we feel. Because that is what true art does. A well-painted piece captures a subject. A masterpiece, it captures a story. And this is history unfolding in oil and canvas, the shock of a masterpiece. When I first saw it, I was shaken. My breath caught, not in confusion, not in dismissal, but in sheer awe, because this is not just a portrait of a king. This is a portrait of a world teetering on the edge of uncertainty. Look closer, you will see it too. A world fractured by war, by political disillusionment, by economic hardship. A world where families are torn apart, where hope flickers like the dying embers of a once roaring fire. A world where a queen's passing still casts a long, silent shadow over a monarchy struggling to define itself in a modern age. And in that world, a single man stands alone. But what is the role of a king when kingdoms are no longer carved from conquests, but from legacies? What is the purpose of a crown when the weight of the world presses down heavier than gold? The fear we dare not speak. And yet, amidst this chaos, one fear in particular lingers. One unspoken nightmare haunts the whispers of the people. What if the world loses another Princess of Wales? Oh, it is high treason to even utter such a thought. But tell me, have you not felt it, that creeping worry, that moment of hesitation when headlines appear? But fate is not so cruel this time. Catherine, our Princess of Wales, our modern embodiment of grace and resilience, has survived. She has conquered illness, defied the fear that gripped a nation. She is still here, and in her survival, she reminds us that not all tragedies must be repeated. And so, in the midst of darkness, a whisper, a delicate flutter, fragile yet powerful, a butterfly. The butterfly effect. A single butterfly, with wings so delicate, so fleeting, yet capable of stirring storms across the earth. That is what this portrait represents. The fragility of power, the inevitability of change, and the quiet persistence of hope, no matter how uncertain the future may seem. And there, within that storm, within the tides of history, shifting beneath our feet, stands King Charles III. The farmer king strip away the robes. Forget the throne. Before you is not a man of mere titles, but of duty, endurance, and sacrifice. His hands, weathered, steady, have planted more than royal decrees. They have touched the soil, nurtured life, sown seeds that will bloom long after he is gone. He is not just a king, he is a gardener of time itself, Farmer Charles. Yes. You heard me? You may know Farmer George, the agricultural king of Bridgerton's lore, but this is Farmer Charles, the king who speaks to the earth, who walks among the trees of Highgrove, who has spent his life cultivating something far greater than power, a legacy of preservation, and yet he was never given a choice. Imagine being born into duty, into expectation. Imagine your life laid out before you even knew the meaning of your own name. Could you bear it? Could you live a life where your existence is not truly your own? Because this is the price of the crown. And what is his reward? Not peace, not freedom, but an eternal audience, watching, waiting, ready to pass judgment on every breath, every word, every movement, a man who was given everything, yet has nothing of his own. His hand does not rest upon the weight of his own will, but upon a sword, not of war, but of duty, of obligation, of an ancient promise made long before he was even born, a silent oath written in the ink of destiny. I am here, I will serve, whether I like it or not. The gaze that holds time. And then there is the gaze. It is not just a stare, it is a reckoning. It is both kind and tired, both warm and burdened. It is the gaze of a man who has waited a lifetime to be seen, only to find himself more scrutinized than ever. But do you see the flame? It still burns. 75 years in waiting, and yet it has not been extinguished. He does not fight the chaos. He does not run from it. Instead, he stands unwavering, allowing it to swirl around him, testing him, daring him to falter. And still, he remains. The power of art, the power of perspective. Some will dismiss this portrait. Some will call it too bold, too brash, too unsettling. But when has true art ever been comfortable? Jonathan Yeo did not paint a royal. He painted a man. He painted a moment in time, frozen, raw, vulnerable, divine. A man not standing above history, but within it. A monarch, yes, but also a human being, burning in the quiet fire of his own fate. You may not have understood this painting before. Perhaps at first glance it seemed strange, but now, you see the whispers beneath the brushstrokes. You hear the story humming beneath the red. You feel the weight of what it means to be born into sacrifice. And if King Charles himself despises this portrait, well, he can send it to me, because I would hang it with pride. But I hope, deep in the quiet chambers of his soul, he understands what has been captured here, because love it or hate it, this portrait has done what few ever do. It has made the world feel. And that, my friends, is the true power of art.